All right, we move on to sports news. Here's Charles Zeruka. Charles.
Well, thanks, Ijoma. Welcome to Sports News. Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has made an appeal to the Confederation of African Football to repackage African football to be profitable. Hosting the president of CAF, Issa Hayatu, at the State House, Fashola called for a rebranding that will be attractive for African players and the economics of the sports. Responding to the governor's request, Mr. Hayatu identified the instability of the football associations in Africa as a major challenge hindering the growth of the game. He commended the efforts of the governor towards the development of football, adding that Nigeria is indeed a real giant of African football.
La Fédération de Football. We can all see the results realized by the Nigerian team so far. Nigeria has won the AFCON this year. Nigeria has been qualified for World Cup. Nigeria has won the World Cup under 17. Nigeria is going to CHAN. I don't want at this point to make any prognostic, but Nigeria is among the teams who can make it during the CHAN. So we all see the result of the involvement of authorities of this country in the development of football. A while ago, Mrs. Abiola introduced me as the pillar of African football. I want to say that Nigeria as a country is the pillar of African football, because each time I was facing any problem, I reverted to Nigerian authorities and I was able to find a solution.
The only thing I will leave you with, sir, is how you can leverage more international technical support for the development of African leagues. The kind of support that ensures that all clubs own their pitches, the kind of support that ensures that all clubs have well laid out football fields with natural grass, a developmental agenda. That for me perhaps will be your most defining legacy. We cannot have so much unemployment with so much passion for the game.
The Falconets coach Peter Dedevo has cautioned his girls ahead of this weekend's final round fixture of the 2014 FIFA Under-20 World Cup qualifier against South African opponents Basetsana at the Abuja National Stadium. Winners of the two-legged encounter will pick one of the two spots reserved for Africa at the biennial Global Football Showpiece in Canada. Dedevo has warned the girls against complacency, as the 9-1 aggregate win against Tunisia has not guaranteed them a spot at the World Cup. The Falconets are expected to head off to South Africa in a week's time for the decisive leg that will see the aggregate winners qualify for the World Cup. And in English football, after his outburst, that's David Moyes' outburst, the English Football Association is not taking the Manchester United manager's comments lying low. The FA has revealed it's looking into comments after he claimed his side are having to play officials as well as the opposition following Tuesday's Capital One Cup defeat at Sunderland. Moyes was infuriated by the decision of referee Andre Mariner to award Sunderland a free kick following the aerial challenge between Johnny Evans and Stephen Fletcher, which led to the home side's opening goal. The FA has also said it will investigate at least 2 incidents involving flares and smoke bombs during Sunderland's 2-1 victory at the Stadium of Light. To basketball now, and in the NBA, LeBron James led the way with 32 points as the Miami Heat scorched the New Orleans Pelicans in the second half to run away with the game 107 points to 88. Dwayne Wade added 22 points, 8 rebounds and 8 assists for the Heat, who outscored the Pelicans 64-39 in the final 24 minutes after trailing by 6 at halftime. Chris Anderson added 15 points off the bench, shooting a perfect 7 for 7 from the floor. The third win in a row for the Heat improved their record at home this season to 16-3.
Holiday. Oh, nice delivery for an Anthony Davis jam.
And it all made by
LeBron steps into it. Kaboom!
Oh, man. Birdman thought he was getting a lob from Ray Allen, but they didn't really have that.
So he's still waiting and working for his chance to contribute. It will come.
Well, that's where we'll lay it up on sports news. It's back to Ijoma with the rest of the news at 10.
Unveiling the new look of Guinness. Discover a colorful world of more.
To the foreign scene now, things certainly did not go as planned concerning the trial of the ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi. The court session was adjourned after officials said bad weather had stopped his helicopter from taking off. Here's Cynthia Are with the details.
It appears the weather would have to be much more favorable before the legal proceedings can continue. Either way, Mr. Morsi and the 14 other Muslim Brotherhood figures are accused of inciting the killing of protesters outside a presidential palace back in 2012. He was removed by the army last July after demonstrations against his rule. His supporters have since held regular protests calling for his reinstatement. A helicopter carrying some of the defendants arrived at the National Police Academy complex in Cairo for the hearing early today. Speaking of helicopters, investigations have started into what caused a U.S. Air Force helicopter to crash in Norfolk, killing all 4 people on board. The HH-60G Pavehawk came down at a nature reserve in Clay next to the sea just last night. Then, Islamist rebel brigades are reported to have seized the headquarters of Islamic State of Iraq and Levant, that's ISIS, in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said it was not clear what had happened to the jihadists who had been at the former hospital in the Qadi Askar area. Also today, weather records have tumbled across North America with freezing temperatures even in the southern United States. The most extreme Arctic blast blamed on a weather pattern known as the polar vortex was said to have affected nearly 190 million people. Finally, but still talking crazy weather conditions, another band of heavy rain is expected to hit parts of the United Kingdom today. More than 100 flood warnings are in place in England, Scotland and Wales. In particular, there's a risk of flooding along the Thames Valley. And that's it from me. Those are the top stories on the foreign scene.
Thanks a lot, Cynthia. And the main news again. The relatives of victims allegedly killed in Apo, Abuja are demanding 500 million naira as compensation from the authorities. They claim the victims were killed in error. And the residents of Apapa here in Lagos State have blamed poor emergency response by the State Fire Service for the high death toll experienced following the tanker explosion in Apapa. Well, that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Ijoma Hunyato. Do have a great night.
Hello, I am Peter Okoche. Welcome to Focus on Africa. Our top stories. With government forces just outside their town, residents of rebel-held Bentiu in South Sudan grab their belongings and run. They're among thousands of others still fleeing across South Sudan and across its borders. The UN says it's seen whole villages looted and burnt.
just sleep under their tree, no houses, and then many people that are sick here, diarrhea and vomiting.